Hi viewers, this is J. Swami, Assistant Professor of Zoology. Today we are going to discuss the cellular respiration. In cellular respiration, production of energy takes place from the complex organic molecules. The end products of the digestion are the monosaccharides like the glucose, amino acids, glycerol, and fatty acids. All these kinds of organic molecules they reach cells and they are utilized in the cellular respiration for the energy production. All these organic molecules are in the reduction state and they store their energy in the chemical bonds. The chemical bonds are broken down under the catalytic activity of various enzymes, and thereby there will be a release of energy. In the cellular respiration, the end products are water and the carbon dioxide. This is nothing but the cellular respiration. Apart from the cellular respiration, 30% of the ATP energy modified into ATP and it is utilized by the cells for their metabolic activities, and remaining energy is exhausted in the form of heat. As to that of like this, the complex organic molecules broken down their chemical bonds and the energy which is released, that is utilized by the cells or the organisms for their metabolic activities, is known as the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a effective catabolic activity. Both the anabolic and catabolic activities collectively called as the metabolic activity. So the cellular respiration is a effective catabolic activity. Now the organic molecules they release energy under the presence of the oxygen. As we know, C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives rise to the formation of 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus delta E is equal to 686 kilocalories of energy per mole glucose. So this represents the entire respiration process. Now the cellular respiration takes place in three phases. Cellular respiration takes place in three phases. They are namely glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the electron transport system. Glycolysis, Krebs cycle or the TCA cycle or citric acid cycle, and finally it is the ETS or electron transport system. We can call it as the oxidative phosphorylation phase. Oxidative phosphorylation phase. Then we will see one by one what happens in which state and which cycle. Let us see in the glycolysis what happens. This is the first phase of the cellular respiration. Glycolysis is the first phase of the cellular respiration. It takes place in the cytoplasm. It takes place in the cytoplasm. Glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm, whereas the Krebs cycle and the electron transport system they takes place in the mitochondria. What happens in the glycolysis? What happens in the glycolysis? The glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, get degraded into 2 pyruvic acid molecules, each one comprised of 3 carbons. Otherwise, the hexose, which is the glucose, get degraded into 2 trioses. Hexose means hexa means 6 carbons. The 6 carbon compound glucose get lysed into, destructed into, cleaved into 2 trioses. Triose means 3 carbon sugar, 3 carbon compound. 2 3s are 6 carbons again. That is, the glucose under the catalytic activity of various enzymes get degraded into 2 pyruvic acid molecules. And the specialty of the glycolysis is glycolysis occur in 2 environments, in both aerobic and anaerobic. Glycolysis takes place in aerobic and anaerobic conditions, so that it is known as a common pathway for both the aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Then see the Krebs cycle. This is the second phase of the cellular respiration. Second phase of the cellular respiration. It occurs in the matrix of the mitochondria, and the reactions which are taking place in glycolysis and Krebs cycle, some of them, they are redox reactions, that is reduction and oxidation reactions. These are taking place under the presence of dehydrogenases, dehydrogenase enzymes. All the redox reactions, they takes place under the presence of dehydrogenase enzymes. These dehydrogenases, they involve in the reactions, and they collect the electrons from the metabolites, and they give to the NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, or FAD, flavin adenine dinucleotide, transfer these electrons from the metabolites to NAD or FAD, and thereby they reduce them into NADH and as well as FADH2. And thereby these NADH and FADH2, both of them, they are transferred to electron transport system. This is the specialty of the Krebs cycle. Then coming to the third one, electron transport system and chemiosmosis or oxidative phosphorylation. This is the third stage of cellular respiration, which occurs in the mitochondrial membrane, and the NADH and FADH2 are given to the, transported to the electron transport system. Electrons are slowly moved from one complex to the another complex of the electron transport system in a cascade manner. Finally, they reach oxygen and as well as the hydrogen, and both of them fuse to form the water molecule, production of the water molecule. And the energy which is released each and every stage, the free energy, that is converted into ATP. Chemiosmosis is the another mechanism which is helpful, really helpful for the production of the ATP. So this is the brief introduction of the about the 3 stages of the 3 phases of the cellular respiration. Let us see the glycolysis. What is actually the glycolysis is? Glykis means, in the Greek language, glykis means sugar. Lysis means destruction. Sugar get destructed. The meaning of glycolysis is. And in the glycolysis, the 6 carbon compound glucose get degraded into 2 pyruvic acid molecules which has 3 carbons. And for the first time, the glycolysis described by Emden, Meyerhoff and the Paranas. Emden, Meyerhoff and the Paranas in the year 1930. So that it is known as the EMP pathway. It is also known as the EMP pathway because this glycolysis was described by 3 eminent scientists, Embden, Meyerhoff and the Paranis. So that it is known as the EMP pathway described during the year 1930. The entire glycolysis takes place in 10 reactions. 10 reactions occur in the cycle of glycolysis and they takes place in two phases. They takes place in two phases. In one phase, it is a energy investment phase, and another phase is the energy payoff phase. Energy payoff phase. In the energy investment phase, we will invest 2 ATP molecules, whereas in the energy payoff phase, we obtain 4 ATP molecules. And the production of these 4 ATP molecules takes place as the method of substrate level phosphorylation. Substrate level phosphorylation. Not only that, in this glycolysis there will be release of 2 electrons from the glucose, and these 2 electrons are obtained by the NAD molecules and they get reduced into NADH. And finally, at the end of the glycolysis, at the net we will get 2 ATP molecules and 2 NADH molecules. Let us see what are the stages and steps which are involving in the energy investment phase and the energy payoff phase. Energy investment phase and the energy payoff phase. In the energy investment phase, the steps right from. So there are 10 reactions we have discussed just now. Reaction number 1 to 5 under the energy investment phase, and the reactions 6 to 10 they are under the energy payoff phase. Let us see what is the energy investment and what is the energy payoff. See here, the glucose is a 6-carbon compound. Let us see the carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the 6th last one. The 6-carbon compound glucose under the catalytic activity of the hexokinase. Kinase somewhat related to the phosphorylation activities. Hexo means number of carbons in the substrate, 6. Okay, C6. Now the glucose undergoes catalytic activity of the hexokinase and converted into glucose 6-phosphate. During this reaction, one phosphate from the ATP that is transferred to glucose, and this phosphate molecule attached at 6th carbon position. Glucose 6-phosphate, it doesn't mean that it has 6 phosphates, but what is the real meaning? It is the phosphate molecule which is transferred from ATP to the glucose that combines added at 6th carbon position here. 6th carbon position. So this is the first priming reaction which takes place to introduce the glucose into the glycolysis pathway or EMP pathway. Glucose under the catalytic activity of the hexokinase converted into glucose 6-phosphate. Here we will see the addition of phosphate at the 6th carbon position of the glucose. Come to the second reaction, it is a isomerization. As we know the formula of glucose and fructose, it is C6H12O6, and the glucose is a aldose sugar where it has the CHO group, and the fructose is a ketone sugar where it has the ketone group. Now the glucose 6-phosphate get converted into fructose 6-phosphate under the catalytic activity of the phosphoglucoisomerase. glucoisomerase. Otherwise, it is also known as the phosphoexoisomerase. Phosphoexoisomerase. Then there is a isomerization in between glucose 6-phosphate and the fructose 6-phosphate. Okay. Then coming to the third step, what happens? The fructose 6-phosphate, it undergoes the catalytic activity of the phosphofructokinase. Thereby another phosphate get released from the ATP, and that attaches to first carbon position of the fructose 6-phosphate. Already the fructose 6-phosphate contain phosphate at the 6th carbon position. Now another ATP undergo hydrolysis and the phosphate get transferred to the substrate, that is the fructose 6-phosphate. Then it is being added at the first carbon position. So that fructose 6-phosphate, besides the phosphate at the 6th position, it also have the phosphate at the first carbon position. So that it is called as the fructose 1,6. This is the fructose molecule. Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate or bisphosphate. Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Now here the phosphofructokinase, this regulate the reaction in the allosteric method. Allosteric method is attachment of an enzyme not with the active site or functional site, it interact with the another site rather than the active site. This alternative site is known as the allosteric site. So just we should remember, that is fructose 6-phosphate get converted into fructose 1,6 bisphosphate by the addition of one more phosphate molecule. And coming to the fourth reaction, here there is a degradation of fructose 1,6 bisphosphate into 2 trioses. Until this time it is a 6-carbon compound. Aldolase is the enzyme which cleaves the 6-carbon compound into 2 3-carbon components. One is known as the DHEAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which has 3 carbons. Another one is the G3P, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Right? Here we will see, slightly we will glide this. Here the DHEAP, it contain 3 carbons, 1, 2, 3, and the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate also contain 3 carbons. So that the 6-carbon component, like the fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, under the catalytic activity of the aldolase get degraded into 2 trioses. One is the DHEAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Another one is the G3P, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So DHEA contain 1 phosphorus phosphate group and glyceraldehyde contain another phosphate group. Now the fifth reaction, both these trioses are again they undergo isomerization reaction. That is, they are interconvertible. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converted into DHEAP, and in the same way, in the vice versa, dihydroxyacetone phosphate also being converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Whatever it may be, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is produced more when compared to the dihydroxyacetone phosphate. The glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate itself leads the remaining reactions of the glycolysis pathway. So both of them, they are isomerases. There is a enzyme which is known as a triose phosphate isomerase that interconverts the DHEAP into G3P, G3P into DHEAP. So once the G3P completes its cycle, the remaining DHEAP get converted to G3P, again it continues the cycle. So whenever both of them they are completed, then the glycolysis get completed. So all these 5 reactions 1 to 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5, all these are comes under energy investment phase. Energy investment phase. We have invested 2 ATP molecules. We have invested 2 ATP molecules. Then coming to the sixth reaction. Coming to the sixth reaction. What happens in the sixth reaction? In the sixth reaction, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate that get converted into 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. Here the enzyme which shows the catalytic activity is the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Just now we discussed that here and there we will see in the glycolysis and Krebs cycle there are the redox reactions, reduction and oxidation reactions. So here we will see there are 2 reactions which are taking place one by one. In the first reaction, the sugar molecule loses electrons and get oxidized. The electrons which are released, they interact with the NAD and they reduce this into NADH. So release of electrons is the oxidation, whereas addition of electrons is the reduction. And in the second way, what we can say, the okay, now this 1,3-biphosphoglycerate that will be formed, and in the next phase the 1,3-biphosphoglycerate that undergo the catalytic activity of the phosphoglycerate kinase, and here we will see release or breakdown of addition of inorganic phosphate into ADP that converted into ATP. See, previously in the first section, the triose sugar undergo the reduction reaction, thereby the electrons which are released get attached to the NAD that reduce the NAD into NADH2. Now here in the second step, in the same way, what happens, there will be addition of, see here it is the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, only in the third position we have the phosphate molecule. But afterwards what happens in the second reaction, the cytoplasm that transfer the inorganic phosphate to the substrate, and thereby we will get the another phosphate at the first position also. So the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converted into 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. And apart from these two, one phosphate get attached with the ADP in the seventh reaction, phosphoglycerokinase. Again, kinase means phosphorylation activity. Then it removes one phosphate group from the first carbon, and thereby it again becomes 3-phosphoglycerate. Here, listen to me carefully. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate get converted into 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. So addition of one more phosphate besides the third carbon phosphate. So 1,3. And followed by, in the seventh step what happens, there is a removal of the phosphate from the first carbon, and thereby there is no phosphate at all. It becomes 3-phosphoglycerate under the catalytic activity of phosphoglycerate kinase. And then the 3-phosphoglycerate, the third position, 3-phosphoglycerate get modified into 2-phosphoglycerate, the second position. 1, 2, 3. 3-phosphoglycerate get converted to 2-phosphoglycerate. Here there is enzyme phosphoglyceromutase. Mutase means change. Mutation is nothing but the change. Phosphoglyceromutase is the enzyme which convert the 3-phosphoglycerate into 2-phosphoglycerate. There is a shift. of the phosphate group from the third carbon position to the second carbon position. Then in the ninth step what happens, there is an enzyme which is known as enolase. There is an enzyme which is known as the enolase. This 2-phosphoglycerate, under the presence of enolase, it becomes phosphoenol pyruvic acid or phosphoenol pyruvate. And in this reaction, the water molecules, they are removed from the 2-phosphoglycerate. They removed from 2-phosphoglycerate, right? And the last one, where there is an enzyme which is known as the pyruvate kinase. Wherever you get kinase enzyme, there either the ATP may be get degraded into ADP and inorganic phosphate, or the ADP may be get converted into ATP by the addition of the inorganic phosphate. We should remember kinase enzymes which are always deals with the phosphorylation. Right now, the pyruvate kinase is the enzyme which convert the phosphoenol pyruvate into pyruvate. Okay, once the glyceraldehyde phosphate converted into pyruvate, and in the next step dihydroxyacetone phosphate get converted into G3P, again it is get converted to pyruvate. So it takes twice, right? So that here it has been written 2 NADH and 2 ADP to ADP, 2 ADP to ADP, like that it has been written. So this is the glycolysis, where the 6 carbon compound like the glucose, 6 carbon compound like the glucose, that has been degraded into 2 pyruvic acid molecules which have 3 carbons. 6 carbon compound glucose get degraded into 3 carbon molecules. They are 2 3s are 6 carbons. So conversion of glucose into the 2 pyruvate molecules is the entire reaction of the glycolysis. Let us see in a simple formula. Glycolysis represented by a simple formula. Here it is. The glucose, in addition to 2 ADP, 2 inorganic phosphates and 2 nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, that gives us the formation of 2 pyruvates. Here the glucose contains 6 carbons, whereas the 2 pyruvates, 2 3s are 3 carbons each. So here we will get the net recovery of the 2 ATPs, 2 NADH and the H2O. This indicates that, for example, this is the glucose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 position. Here the entire glucose molecule get divided into 2 pyruvate molecules. Simply let us assume here there is a breakage, and thereby this side 3 molecules and this side 3 molecules. Not even a single decarboxylation takes place. The entire glucose chain get degraded into 2 fragments. That's it. That is nothing but the lysis. Lysis of the glucose into 2 trioses is the glycolysis. Then in the entire process of the glycolysis, here that the formation of 2 ATPs, net ATPs, totally 4 produced. So if you subtract the 2 ATPs which were invested in the first phase, okay, so remaining net ATPs number is 2. So for production of 1 ATP we require 11 kilocalories of energy. So for 2 ATPs it is only 24 kilocalories of energy. But theoretically what we study is that is 686 kilocalories of energy for mole glucose will be released. So after that, at the end of the glycolysis, we have, otherwise the cells have the availability of the 3.5% of energy out of 686. 2 ATPs means 3.5% of energy is available to cell after the glycolysis. Then coming to the anaerobic glycolysis, where the glycolysis is a common pathway for both the aerobic and anaerobic respirations. in general, what happens in the cells, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide is always limited, and in order to run the glycolysis reactions, the NADH which is formed during the formation of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, then that has to be oxidized. Then only the electrons of the NADH, they enter into hydrogen ions electrons, they enter into mitochondria and they get oxidized. But what happens in the anaerobic respiration, in the RBC, otherwise those muscle cells which are severely contract in the muscle cells, pyruvate, the end product of the glycolysis, pyruvate, that undergoes reduction, and thereby NADH undergoes oxidation, and that forms the nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. And this reaction is mediated by, catalyzed by the lactate dehydrogenase. That is, we know this is the glucose, it forms the pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid undergo the reduction reaction under the pyruvic dehydrogenase, and that forms the lactose or lactic acid, that forms the lactic acid. And the lactic acid which is formed during the anaerobic respiration of the striped muscles, okay, that is released into the blood and that reaches the liver, and again that is reutilized for the production of either the glucose or the glycogen. So the lactate, glucose, they are move in a cyclic way in between muscles and as well as the liver. This is known as the Cori cycle. It's very, very important. Cori cycle or Cori cycle. So we should remember all these named events, right? Here in the, what happens, glucose is there, converted into pyruvate, the pyruvate of the muscle cell that forms the lactate. This lactate enters into liver through blood, and in the liver it may be get converted into glucose and released into the cells, and some of that converted into glycogen and stored in the liver. So the conversion of the lactate into glucose that takes place, lactate formation takes place in the muscle, whereas the glucose formation takes place from the lactate is in the liver. So that the cyclic movements of the lactate and the glucose in between the muscle and the liver, they usually called as the Cori cycle. Cori cycle takes place in the liver, right? So here it is a conversion of lactate into the glucose, otherwise the glycogen. So previously the scientists thought that the accumulation of lactose, otherwise lactic acid, accumulation of lactic acid, that may tend to lead to the muscle fatigue. That leads to the muscle fatigue. But the recent studies revealed that the drop in the pH, the low pH, that leads to the muscle fatigue. For example, if there is a lactic acid in the muscle cells, if you keep the muscle cells without disturbing the pH, you should not allow the muscle cells to change the pH, then thereby the muscle cells may not undergo the muscle fatigue. That indicates that accumulation of lactic acid is not at all the responsible reason for the muscle fatigue. The best reason for the muscle fatigue is the drop in the pH, low pH, that results in the muscle fatigue. This is the about the anaerobic glycolysis in the case of muscle cells. So that is nothing but the lactic acid fermentation. This is known as a lactic acid fermentation. And if you see, there are some microbes where we will see yeast and microbes, they convert the glucose into the ethyl alcohol through the fermentation. The muscle cells, they convert the glucose into the lactic acid or lactate. But here yeast and the other microorganisms, they convert the glucose into the ethyl alcohol and CO2. So in the glucose, how many molecules are there? 6 carbons are there. So here in the ethyl alcohol, see here the reaction itself is there. So in the glucose there are 6 carbons. Ethyl alcohol means 2C2H5OH. So that is 4 plus 2CO2, 2 carbons. So totally 2 and 4. Here there are 6 carbons. So now glucose undergo fermentation and forms the 2 ethyl alcohols and 2 carbon dioxide molecules. So it happens in the 2 phases. In the first reaction, the pyruvate, which is the end product of the glycolysis, from the pyruvate acetaldehyde has been formed. Pyruvate get degraded into acetaldehyde under the presence of pyruvic decarboxylase. Pyruvic decarboxylase enzyme that catalyzes the conversion of pyruvate into the acetaldehyde. So in this reaction, CO2 will be released. In the second reaction, acetaldehyde get reduced by the NADH and thereby it forms the ethyl alcohol or ethanol. So here the enzyme required is alcohol dehydrogenase. Pyruvic decarboxylase that converts the pyruvic acid into acetaldehyde, whereas alcohol dehydrogenase that catalyzes the conversion of acetaldehyde into the ethanol or alcohol. Ethanol, otherwise you may call it as the alcohol. Now in the human beings also we see the alcohol dehydrogenase. The human beings also we see the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme which converts the ethanol into the acetaldehyde first. Ethanol into the acetaldehyde. It is a toxic substance. Acetaldehyde, it is a toxic substance. So it is converted to acetate and followed by acetyl coenzyme A, and that entered into the Krebs cycle. Understood? Here most of the people, some of the people, they consume alcohol, that is undergo the catalytic activity of the aldehyde dehydrogenase converted into acetaldehyde. In the first phase, that converted into acetate and followed by acetyl coenzyme A, and that enters into the Krebs cycle and get degraded into CO2 and H2O. Then in some of the cases, if you take into consideration the methanol, instead of ethanol, if you take into consideration the methanol, this methanol under the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase, it get converted into formaldehyde and again followed by formic acid, and the formic acid is equal to poison. It shows its effect on the eyes as well as brain, and that finally leads to the death. And in the animals, there is no pyruvate decarboxylase in general. In the animals like the human beings, there is no pyruvate decarboxylase, so that the human beings unable to synthesize ethyl alcohol in their body. Due to the absence of the pyruvate decarboxylase, which convert the pyruvate or pyruvic acid into the acetaldehyde, okay, that kind of enzyme is not at all present in the animals and as well as the human beings, so that they are unable to synthesize the ethyl alcohol. So it is a gift to the industry of the beverage. So finally we can easily in a simple manner, the anaerobic glycolysis will be shown in two equations. In the lactic acid fermentation, the glucose get converted into lactic acid molecules, right? In the alcohol fermentation, glucose get converted into ethyl alcohol molecules. So that is, whenever you see here, there is an overview. For example, glucose molecule with the 6 carbons that get degraded into pyruvic acid 3 carbons and pyruvic acid 3 carbons, let us assume. So this pyruvic acid get entered into the undergo the decarboxylation and form the acetyl coenzyme A that enters into the Krebs cycle and finally divide into CO2 and H2O. This is one. That is the fate of the pyruvic acid whenever it enters into the aerobic respiration. If you see, this is anaerobic respiration where the pyruvic acid get fermented in the muscles into lactic acid. In the case of microorganisms, into ethanol or ethyl alcohol in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen. So this is the anaerobic respiration and this is the aerobic respiration. Whatever it may be the respiration, anaerobic or aerobic, glycolysis is a common pathway. This is also known as the EMP pathway. This is also known as EMP pathway. So this is all about the glycolysis and the events which are taking place in the glycolysis. Thank you one and all.